Hey y'all, and welcome to the Sam Mariello Show. My name is Sam, and this is my show. Today we are with an amazing group of people that I've been following for a few months now. I'm amazed by everything they do, and I'm really excited to talk to them. So before we start, how about you guys introduce yourselves?
Well, Tanya, you could go first.
Um, Hi, my name is Tanya Ba. I am a first year student at Concordia University. My major is sociology, and I am a member of the Black Student Union, co-founder of the Black Student Union.
And hi, everyone. My name is Maria Phillips. I also am a first year student at Concordia University. I'm studying theology, and I am co-founder with Tanu of the Black Student Union. So yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
I've been following you guys because you started the Black Student Union. A few months ago, you wanted to create this group, and then you got an overwhelming amount of support. I know that you had like a petition that you had to fill out, and hundreds of people filled it out. It just seemed like a lot of people at Concordia were interested about this. Can you tell us a bit about the Black Student Union?
Yeah, sure. I guess I'll start. So the Black Student Union, we first of all we noticed that there was none in Concordia. So we were talking and we wanted to join the Black Student Union. We realized there was none, so we decided to take matters into our own hands, and create a safe space for Black students. And so right now, what we're doing, we're making sure we're creating a safe space for Black students, but also educating other students about the African diaspora as a whole, like just everything from the Caribbean to Africa to the States to right here in Canada. So we really want to create like an awareness, like making sure everybody's aware of those type of things, as well as like things about race and colorism, like our last live and things like that. So yeah, we're really looking towards that, and we also want to make sure we give back to Black students in Concordia and Black people like in the community. So that's something we are planning on doing. So that's really what the Black Student Union is. I don't know if Tanya, you wanted to add anything, but
No, you covered exactly what I wanted to say, so that's great. Yeah, in general, that's what we're here to do, to support Black students, to raise awareness, to make sure that in Concordia, in the Canadian society, that Black people are being supported and loved and know that they have the support system that is the BSU. So yeah.
That's great.
right.
I know that you guys have been hosting Instagram lives where you answer like some common questions that people have. I remember there was one about who can say the N word. It was like a very interesting topic, and like I know
Mhm.
that a ton of people like tuned into that. Do you guys have any more planned soon?
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? We have, since it's Black History Month, we have so many things coming up. We have so many VIP guests, what's it called? Lives happening. So just all I could say is like stay tuned and like just be very excited because a lot of we've been planning for so long to make sure that we have so many things to give to the people of Concordia and just like so many sessions where people can relate as well as people can learn because that's what like one of the most important things for us is that people what's it called like people can learn what we're talking about and why this is right, this is wrong. Not only Black students, but hopefully other people that are not people of color can come and actually learn something from the BSU and like leave better for it. So yeah, I'm just saying stay tuned for the month of February and every month following because we have a lot of plans and it should be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, just to add, like, just to give like the few events, because I know people are gonna be watching and they want to know what's these events. So we have one called "How can you defund? Is it possible to defund the police?" Right. So we know we hear that defund the police is very often, especially since the summer, right? Defund the police, but is it really possible to defund the police? So we want to have a conversation around that. We have a speaker coming in who works with the police and who works with like trying to defend the police. So she's going to really give us insight on if that's really a thing, if it's really possible here in Canada
Hmm.
and here in Montreal especially. So that's one. We also have someone who's going to teach us about Black history, but here in Canada. So there is this big thing about people not knowing that there's Black Indigenous people that exist here in Canada that are still here. And so she is part of that, and she wants to come on live and really have a open discussion about that. Also for Valentine's Day, we want to do a little Valentine's Day kind of like fun, like not trivia, but like a fun like speed dating, but also understanding what interracial dating is, what Black love is. But we wanted to also be kind of controversial because the debate is something that we hear a lot. Is it possible to be pro-Black, but also date outside of your race, right? So that's something like people want to know, is that a thing? So we want to really have those open conversations so people could learn and really get insight from different perspectives. And I'm pretty sure I missed a lot of lives, ideas that we have and planned, but stay tuned, like Tanya said.
Great, great. Honestly, like it's so great how you have these lives, like you cover topics that, not everyone is always capable of talking about. I know that it can sometimes be difficult to talk about these topics. It can put a lot of emotional strain on you. But it's great that you like open up this discussion. I really appreciate it. Like every time I tune in, I learn something. So honestly, like it's great. And yeah, like I guess one thing that I wanted to know is, Black History Month is coming up. How can people like help? Like how can people contribute? Whether it's about like everything that you mentioned, like defund the police or the other topics. Like what do you think like people can do to get more involved and help?
You go
You go
ahead.
first? Okay.
No, you go ahead.
I mean, you could add on right after. So for me, I would say, can you please attend? We really think attendance is going to really make a difference, whether it's on the lives or in these Zooms, because like you said, Sam, like we really want to have these conversations that people don't normally have on a grander scale with a big group of people. And I don't know if you guys know, there's this thing called Clubhouse. It's a new app where you get to interact with people all around the world, and you get to like get their perspective on important like topics. So I feel like bringing that here into Concordia, maybe students don't really know like the answers to simple questions, but we're so open to answering those questions about race, about like what do you say? Are you allowed to say certain things to certain people? I don't know, like just those conversations are so important to have. We need to normalize them. And so attendance is part of that. It's part of that support because we want to make sure we're doing our part, and we really think about like the next step and really think about like what people could learn. And so making sure they attend, so it creates a better environment too for Concordia students and anybody else who wants to join in into these lives or Zooms. And yes, I don't know, Tanya, if you wanted to add anything else.
I mean, as to Concordia as a whole, just what's it called? Students of all races understanding what Black History Month is and what it represents, right?
Mhm.
And knowing what's it called? How powerful this month of February is, right? And then with that comes with what's it called? The smallest thing a person can ask for you is to repost their what's it called? Their post about Black History Month or their story, or just help spread awareness, right? And I'm not saying spread blind awareness, like just reposting something for the sake of reposting. Understand why you're reposting it and understand the importance of what is happening during this month, right? So if I had any advice to the Concordia group of people or Concordia population, it would be like understanding what Black History Month represents, not only to Black people, but to people all over the world, right? And then also trying your best to, what's it called, spread awareness about this month, advocate for the people in this month, like, what's it called, honor the people in the Black community that have done so much, because that is the most important thing that you could ever do, right? So that's all I could say. Yeah, just be a part of it. And it doesn't take much to be a part of this month. Like it really doesn't. So yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, being a part of the conversation really, really helps. And I think like we touched on sharing the post. I think that helps because we had a post that that kind of got a lot of people's attention. Well, a few posts that got a lot of people's attention. It's so heartwarming to see that, your friends reposted and their friends reposting it, but it helps spread that awareness, right, about topics that people don't really talk about every day. So like liking it is cool and all, sharing it is really important, and follow the pages. We have a Facebook page too, so follow that, and follow our Instagram page as well. Also we want to do something a little bit more on a monthly basis. We want to have these open conversations where people could join, and it's not necessarily just Black people, right? Black students, it's everyone. These conversations, we want to normalize having them, and so it's okay that you don't know everything. We're here to help and we're here to educate. So we want to have those kind of Zoom one-on-one conversations once a month, and I think that's going to be very helpful for people who are genuinely curious and they want to help and they want to be allies. So, yeah.
The awareness that you spread is really, really amazing. Like, I really appreciate it. I'll be linking down below your Facebook page and your Instagram so that people can tune in. If you're comfortable, there's someone who asked a question in the comments. They're wondering, like, what would be your response to people who say that defunding the police is not possible? Like, what would be your response to that?
And do you want to go or you want me to go?
I mean, the only thing is, like, you're already accepting defeat when you say a statement like that, You're already just saying, like, oh, there's no way to do that. I don't think that, in a society like this, with people that have been so, you've seen, like, how much people have done, right? When we really put our minds to it, we can get a lot done, right? Maybe to say that we can defund the police right now, that might not be realistic, but to say we can't do it at all would already put you in a spot behind what you can actually achieve, right? So that's why our Zoom would be so, our live would be so important, because then you can actually learn how the minor steps that you can take that could lead to big leaps to defunding the police, right? So when people say stuff like that, I'm like, you're already losing before you start the race, right? You need to kind of understand that these things don't just happen overnight, and you can make change. It's just the way you go about it, and like the belief you have in what you can do. So to those people, I'm just like just have faith in human beings, have faith in people of color, have faith in society. Even though society hasn't given a lot to us, have faith that us Black people can bring it up. And like, I just think, like, saying something like that before you even started doing something already puts you behind. So
and we need to explore, like, the different possibilities too. Like, if you're saying, okay, maybe it's not possible, and that's why we're going to have these conversations on the Zoom with someone who really knows if it's possible or not. But maybe we could explore different ways to go about policing in Canada and in Montreal, because we do know that it is a problem. There's a lot of police that do racial profiling and things like that. Like, that's basically what the conversation is going to be around as well. So it's going to be important to really attend those type of conversations, so you don't just say, well, is it possible or not? Like, you really have an idea of how to go about it and the steps that we could take as a whole, a community, not just Black people, but like allies and everybody coming together, because there is an issue and we need to know what's the solution to these issues, not just like having a one-sided response, right? So I appreciate the question, though. I think that's something people say a lot. So I'm glad that we have the opportunity to give a little insight on that. Definitely.
Yeah, I really appreciate what you said. Like, I think, like, the police budget wasn't always that big. Like, maybe we can consider, putting that money somewhere else. Like, it doesn't have to stay there,
Right.
Exactly. Baby steps.
Yeah, exactly.
So
now I want to focus more about Concordia. Like a few months ago, there was a controversy at Concordia about professors wanting to say the N-word, like having the right to say the N-word and stuff like that. I think it's clear that there's progress that can be made at Concordia at the moment. So what do you recommend for Concordia students who want to contribute to that progress?
Google. Like, what's it called? That's like, because I realized when I came to this school, and especially under the thread in the Concordia group chat on Facebook, under the thread of the teacher saying the N-word, how many comments were put there that were just ignorant, right? Like, how people just didn't know what right was wrong for. And what's it called? We're in 2021. Like Google is amazing, bro. Like 1.3 seconds and you get all this information, you know? So that's why I always tell people like I could obviously we can do as much as we can doing these posts, doing these lives and doing this, but if you really like if Concordia really wants to up themselves, like you can learn. The same way you can
Mhm.
research for the class, you can research to help support the Black community. Like it's not that hard, right? And for and just like Concordia students, for that to have happened and then for there not to be as much outrage as there should have been was actually quite mad, right? For there to be
Yeah.
people that were in support of those teachers is insane, right? Like
Mhm.
I tell everybody all the time, there's no difference with saying N word and actually saying the word as a teacher. Like you don't have to say the word. There's
Right.
no like it doesn't take away from your lesson. It doesn't take away from like the meaning. We understand like even you not saying the word kind of shows the rest of your students how powerful and how significant that word is, that you don't
Exactly.
feel comfortable to say the word. So all I can say to Concordia students is hop on Google or hop on our page because our page, if you go through our page, like in
Right.
one day, you will learn. Like you'll learn. If you hop on our Don't Say the N Word live, you will learn something. So after
Mhm.
that, just hop on Google and research because I don't think ignorance is allowed to be an excuse anymore. Like it's really not. With
Right.
all the resources we have now, it's not allowed to be an excuse. So that's what I think. Google's amazing, man. So just hop on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also for me, I would add, like, I think that that situation brought out a lot of testimonials from Black students that said, look, this is not okay. For me, this happened in a situation and I didn't like it. And this is how I took it and I approached the situation, right? And so when you see all these different Black students, especially speaking out about their experience of racism, you now have to make a decision. Am I going to ignore their testimonies or am I just going to go with what I think? And what what I think is okay or whatever, like, what are you going to choose? Because there's too many people that said that word hurt them, right? And it could be in any situation, like it just a discrimination situation or whatever, right? So you can't ignore the facts. You can't ignore someone's actual personal experience, right? And when it's a group of people, now you got to question whether or not this is okay. And so now, as a student who maybe is not Black, but you say you're an ally, now you have to realize, okay, if I'm in a situation where maybe that Black student is not present or any Black students are present, and that someone says the N word or someone says something racist or someone does discrimination, like, what is your stance? Are you going to speak out and educate that person in love? Or are you going to let them talk and you're going to let them continue on in their ignorance, like Tanu said? And I think it's important for allies or people who really care about progression that they speak out even when a Black person is not present. And yeah, and even if it's your teacher, it really doesn't matter who it is. Just know how to approach the situation so it doesn't like get too big, like get bigger than it should be. But yeah, just educate whomever it is. And it's important to educate. You got to be educated on the matter, right?
Yeah.
You can't just talk to talk. You gotta know what you're talking about a little bit, which is why these things are very, very important, right? So
Hmm.
yeah, that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, there's someone in the comments who said, well, I think they were surprised that there were some Anglophone professors like having this problem as well. Like I think
Mhm.
on the French side of Quebec, we see it often, but it's also
Mhm.
happening at Concordia. It happened a few months ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the point you made was really good. Like again, like talking about awareness, like we really need to be able to give people the space to talk about how this affects them. And that's
Mhm.
why I really appreciate your group because you really do bring attention to that. So I really appreciate that.
Thank
Uh,
you so much.
yeah.
Thank you.
So you guys have a whole bunch of amazing lives coming up. Is there anything else that you're organizing soon? Is there anything that people can support you with?
Right now, we're pretty much in quarantine mode with all our events. So everything is definitely going to be digital, virtual, and everything. But we will keep everyone up to date, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or both, as it relates to like other types of events. But those are the ones we see that are most effective and that are going to really bring people to these type of conversations. So yeah, I also want to shout out our new team. We definitely got a new executive board to help us out with posting and financing and all that stuff. So I'm shouting them out because they're really helping us structure the Black Student Union the way we want. So it's not just the two of us. We got other people with it. We'll get like 13 people with us. So it's really cool to see that as well. So
Mm,
yeah.
that's amazing. I wish you guys a lot of success. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show. For everyone who's watching, I'm going to link the Instagram and the Facebook so that they can participate. And yeah, thank you so much for coming today. I really
Thank you so
appreciate
much
it.
for
Thank you so
having
much for
us.
having
Oh,
us.
no
We
problem.
appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye,
So have a great
everyone.
day.
Bye.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
So thank you everyone for watching today. I really hope that you found that inspiring, that you enjoyed what they're working on. Please go watch their lives. It's actually really interesting. Like I thought I was woke, but like they have so many things that I was not aware of that they shared about. So please go ahead and watch. I'll be linking that in the comments in a few minutes, I guess. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any feedback about the show, let me know. And yeah, have a great Sunday, everyone. Bye.